Amy, I have an itch, and it is for a spicy dark romance, and I need one bad.
I have the book for you. It is A Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. It was an instant New York Times bestseller. It was a huge indie hit on Book Talk, and I think it is right up your alley.
It seriously has some of my favorite tropes, like shifters, vampires, witches. You know how I feel about vampires. There can never be enough. It has the best morally gray characters, fated mates, meddling gods, forced proximity, touch her and die. One bed, one horse, he falls first. Enemies with benefits.
I love enemies with benefits. Don't tell me your feelings at all. Just ravage me, please.
I need to read this immediately.
I love that there's even LGBTQ rep. The series overall features romantic relationships like MFM polyamory, MM, and FM. Give it all to me.
You know how I love to feel devastated by reading a book? A Reign of Shadows and Endings is it.
And if you're like Jack and I and you love special editions, there is a gorgeous deluxe version with stenciled edges, foil details, and full color character arc from Kensington Publishing.
It is, in fact, in my heart currently.
We're so excited to read it, and you can too. You can find A Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
You can also find Melissa online at her website, melissakRorick.com, at Melissa_K_Rorick on Instagram, and at author Melissa K. Rorick on TikTok. That's ROEHRIC.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come step into centuries of history that await in Scotland. Castles steeped in legend walk along cobblestone streets. Come share the warmth of stories passed down through generations. This is a place with a past that is fully present today and all yours to explore. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
You may think you know McDonald's drinks, but you don't know them like this. From fruity refreshers like the Strawberry Watermelon Refresher and the Mango Pineapple Refresher with popping boba, to crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry-flavored Sprite topped with cold foam. Who knew ice-cold drinks could be so fire? 6 all-new drinks are here. Try them all, now at McDonald's. Refreshers contain caffeine.
As Emery carries an injured Gwyn to the top of Ramiel to finish the blood rite, Nesta holds the pass of Annelius against Bellius and his fellow Illyrians. The male's role in Queen Briallen's plan meets a gruesome end at the hands of a possessed Cassian, and the human queen uses the crown to force Cassian to kill Nesta. Unwilling to let her mate suffer, Nesta unleashes her full power to silence Briallen once and for all. But her victory is short-lived with the imminent death of Feyre, who has gone into premature labor. In order to save her sister and nephew, Nesta wields all 3 Dread Trove objects at once, striking a bargain with the Cauldron, their lives, and Rhys's in exchange for the power she took. In the aftermath, Nesta claims Cassian as her mate and is finally fully ready to embrace all that her Fae life has to offer.
Hey there, we're Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, your book besties who take the novels you love seriously. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy, and we bring the tools of literary analysis to the women-written novels lighting up Book Talk, from romance to romantasy. Think of it as your favorite fandom books, treated with the same respect you'd give a classic in literature class, just with more humor and less homework.
Each season, we deep dive into one book, breaking down themes, imagery, and character motivations. Together, we combine our 13 years of literary academic training with our fandom love to help you see your favorite books in a whole new way. We also analyze the story through 2 different literary lenses, giving you more than one way to look at the text.
This week, we're discussing Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flames, the most divisive book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. This is our season finale, where we cover chapters 69 through 80.
For a complete list of episodes and chapter breakdowns, be sure to check out our Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk.
Before we dive in, let's talk about Spelt. Spoilers, perspective and interpretation, language, and themes.
Spoilers. This episode covers A Court of Silver Flames with full context from the preceding books in the ACOTAR series. That's Thorns and Roses, Mist and Fury, Wings and Ruin, Frost and Starlight. If you haven't read those, this is your only spoiler warning. Anything in SJM's other series will be saved for the Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks episode, which airs tomorrow.
Perspective and interpretation. These are just our takes, our personal readings of the text. We don't speak for Sarah J. Maas, and we know you'll have your own interpretations too. We love to hear them, so share away.
Language. We use explicit language and we cannot help ourselves. So keep your headphones on and the kids away.
I mean, we could help ourselves, but we don't.
We're not meant to grow as people, not in this regard.
Nope. Themes. We will discuss tough topics like sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death. We do our best to flag heavier moments where we can, but listener discretion is advised.
As always, let's keep the conversation going. Tag us, DM us, or use the submission form on our website. And if you want exclusive content and live streams, you'll find us over at patreon.com/booktalkforbooktalk.
Can't get enough analysis? Make sure to check out the Subtext Society Journal, where we write think pieces discussing the romance and romantasy genres as a whole, the ongoing conversations in the bookish community, and insights into the publishing world. Join us over at the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com. We promise we will start writing there again one day.
At the beginning of the season, we asked a question that I don't remember, so I'm going to remind us all. What is the balance of character development versus plot-driven narrative in Silver Flames? And how does this compel the reader to feel about Nesta's journey? That's a good question. I'm excited about that one.
I'm glad you're excited, because I was like, have we not talked about this the entire time?
Yeah, that means we already have our answer.
Themes we see in this section include sacrifice. A theme we see in this section is sacrifice. I'm sure there are other themes, but it's been so long since we wrote these notes.
I truly don't remember what happens. There was something about this episode that we just kept putting off.
Yeah.
Amy didn't finish reading it until this morning.
I knew I was going to cry.
And did you?
You cried. You sent me. I got teary-eyed.
Yeah,
I was in public.
Cried in the privacy of my bedroom.
By reading out in the wild, I convinced myself to not cry.
A side note, Amy and I were both walking on the treadmill today with one person in between us, and I called Amy to tell her something, and the poor girl between us was so confused.
It's so annoying how everyone decides to put one empty treadmill between them.
And I get it, because I do the same thing.
I don't, because there's never enough room.
Well, I mean, like, if I have room, I'm not going to go next to someone. I will go for an in-between, but yeah, sure, her confused face was hilarious. Okay, so we are in chapter 69, and we're with Cassian and Azriel, and they've been watching and following Brialyn and Eris, and then Eris catches Cassian. Quote, "Over here, Cassian," Eris crooned. Immediate clue. Immediately, we're like, wait a minute, Eris would not call him Cassian. He'd call him, like, bastard, brute, or something like that. And when does Eris croon? Eris doesn't croon. And in a little bit, Eris is also going to reference Moore as the Morrigan, and that's also going to be a clue that he's brainwashed, you know?
Right, that he's being controlled by the crown. I didn't really get it. Over here, Cassian, Eris crooned. I guess I should have. At that point, I'm just like, why the fuck are we with these guys? Can we go back to Nesta? That's usually what I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm just looking for anything here at this point.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So we do go back to Nesta as I requested, and she is feeling weak, both mentally and physically, as she nears the end of the blood rite. And that is best conveyed through the use of animal/food symbolism, because why not at this point in the story? Quote, "There was only the pain in her body and the relentless circling of her thoughts, as if they were vultures gathering to feast. She wanted to turn her mind off." I like this little moment because Cassian just referred to himself as a vulture a few chapters ago. I know that he was thinking of it in a context of like being a passive predator. This is just reminding us, vultures can be a threat. They are just waiting for her to die, and she's kind of ready to die.
Truly. There's a lot of nice little moments that I think SJM does a great job kind of putting in these last bit of chapters, especially this full circle moment. Quote, she, being Nesta, had climbed the 10,000 stairs of the House of Wind, up and down, over and over and over again. So at this point, Nesta is carrying Gwen up the mountain, and she just looks up the mountain and goes, holy shit, I have so much I need to do. And she digs deep and goes, you know what? I've climbed more steps than this. I can do it. And it's just nice to have those just full circle moments. And SJM's really good at it.
I think also what's nice about that is this thing that she used to do to calm her mind is now giving her hope.
So Nesta at this point is summoning the strength of what was once caging her. It was once her punishment, and then it turned into her therapy. And then it turned into her salvation. And now it's her extra salvation because it's what's going to get her through this in the very end.
And I think that's a really important message for anybody, that sometimes you do things not knowing why or thinking it's for one reason. And sometimes life shows you there's other purposes for what you've gone through. It's a nice way for SJM to have brought that full circle.
It's true.
Now, one of my favorite moments of the Blood Rite is when the Valkyries make it to the Pass of Annihilus. Emery says at this point, quote, I am standing where none of my ancestors have been before, she whispered, voice choked. And it's just a really beautiful moment. I know that there are readers out there who have a lot of difficulty with this whole concept of Nesta and her friends finishing the Blood Rite. But when we stop and look at this moment, at least for me, it reminded me that A Court of Silver Flames is a story about women who face hard things and overcome those hard things. Emery was, she's a woman in a society that believes women are worth nothing. And yet here she is having done something none of the men in her family have ever done before for generations. And that's huge and should be inspiring.
If anyone, I just thought of this and I'm going to bitch about it thing. If anyone were to say, it's just not believable, my mind can't wrap around it, this is the one thing that I can't get into the story. Maybe this next comment applies to you or not, but I have never once heard that about Star Wars and Luke Skywalker, where he goes and runs around with like a little gremlin on his back, and then suddenly, and he flips around in a forest, and everyone's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. He can take on the scariest former Jedi that's ever Jedi'd, right? And we don't question, I'm trying to think of other male characters, right, in other stories where they go through a training sequence and we're like, yeah, all right, on board. But I think because women see themselves in characters, it then turns into almost a self-doubt that are you able to succeed if you had that? Because that's not a criticism we ever have for men. We hold it against women. And why are we doing that? Is it internalized misogyny or is it self-doubt?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. Because we don't. We never questioned the fact that Rhys, Cassian, and Azriel did it. And yeah, okay, they trained for their whole lives for it, but they were still 18.
Right. Their whole lives were not they were still youths. It's not like they had hundreds of years under their control.
Right. So at the end of the day, in my view, probably Jack's view as well, I'm speaking for her at the moment, this book is not about Nesta and Cassian's love story. They're still figuring that out. It's really about Nesta learning what she's capable of. It's Emery and Gwyn learning what they're capable of. And it's showing us that investing in yourself is all it takes to go further than you've ever imagined. And that's an uplifting story that everyone needs a reminder of. And I think people either love this book or hate this book because they recognize that.
And I think people love this book or hate this book because they see themselves in Nesta, or they don't see themselves in Nesta, or they see someone else in Nesta that they are then triggered by. I think this book is very polarizing because it invokes so many emotions. And one of the biggest emotions that we get at the end is this idea of investing in yourself and being able to come out on top despite the odds. And again, I'm going to come back to the question, is that part of the reason why a lot of women have issues with the end, where they just can't relate to this idea of investing in yourself and believing that you could do it against all odds?
Right. We all love an underdog story as long as the underdog is a man. The second it's a woman, it's not believable.
I really genuinely believe that this is, I mean, obviously I'm going to say internalized misogyny, but I believe a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't think women necessarily believe in themselves. I mean, it's the same reason why women don't go and ask for a raise. It's why a lot of women don't negotiate for salaries. It's why a lot of women feel like they have imposter syndrome at work, you know? And here we are with 3 characters that are against all odds, and they're going to not just survive, but believe in themselves so much that they're going to go reach the top of the mountain that only a handful of others have done before. So I think that's something that we should all look at.
Yeah. And I don't know that we were on board with them winning at the start. I can't remember, to be quite frank. However, I will say from a structural point of view, if none of the Valkyries won the blood right in this book, the whole message about perseverance, about being your own champion, about overcoming would not succeed. It just wouldn't. And so from a structural point of view, they have to win. And SJM balances it with Nesta not joining Emery and Gwyn to the top.
I think that was a great move on her part. And we're going to get a lot of moments as they're going up the mountain where the mother helps them. So again, it's not like they're doing this on their own. They kind of stumble their way to the top in many regards. Like they're able to get these moments of assistance, especially from the mother. As Nesta starts to fall down the mountain with Gwyn on her back, quote, Nesta collided with someone hard. No, not someone, though she could have sworn she felt warmth and breath. That's the mother probably, you know, being like, ooh, gotcha, girl. And I like that the mother comes into play in the last bit of this book because it's truly about a story at this point, women supporting women, about women helping you get to the top. It literally ends with Nesta walking towards her sister while Cassian watches from above. This is a story about relationships with female relationships. Yeah.
So after Nesta's fall, they've backtracked essentially. And at this point, they see that Bellius and his cronies are fast approaching. And so Nesta offers to stay and hold off the men so that Emery and Gwyn can complete the blood rite. Gwyn, however, refuses to leave and gets very upset about this.
Yeah, she gets really triggered. She screams, "It is not the only way." And then she was sobbing, "I will not abandon you to them. They will kill you." That's because this is bringing back memories of her sister, right? She feels like she's failing Nesta the way that she felt like she failed her sister.
Yeah. And then Nesta does something that's probably the most Reese-like shit she's ever done, and it's worth talking about. Quote, Nesta couldn't stop her tears then. The chill wind froze them on her cheeks. "I promise," she breathed, stroking Gwyn's matted hair. "I promise." Gwyn sobbed, and Nesta let herself sob with her, squeezing her tightly, letting her stroking hand come to rest on Gwyn's neck. Now, several times this season, we've compared Nesta to Reese. This is among them. I also want to point out we compare Nesta to the cold wind of the Illyrian Mountains when Cassian thinks about the wind. It is intriguing to me that SJM calls out the chill wind right now because in my mind, it's Nesta metaphorically hardening herself before she does her Vulcan death grip on Gwyn. It's not a death grip. She just knocks her out. However, how do you feel about it? Are you like, yeah, I understand Nesta? Or
like knocking Gwyn out? I would knock you out so fucking fast to protect you. I would be willing to like break your arm if it would save you. I don't know. Like, it's just...
Just like, oh man.
If it involved...
Yeah, this is taking me back to season 1.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. What did I say there?
No. It's making me think of Reese twisting Feyre's already broken arm for some reason.
I would 100% do that. If it involved saving you, I would do what I needed to do. And I would sleep easy. I'd sleep better. I'd have the best fucking sleep of my life knowing that I'd protected you. I have a feeling it is not reciprocated, though.
I don't know. It's hard. And I've thought about this recently because of another book that I've been reading of like, is it better to die together so that you're not alone at the end?
No.
Or is it better to honor the wishes of the person you love when they tell you to go save yourself? Like, I don't know.
I mean, whoever does it faster wins. But
you're in this instance, you're knocking me out so that I can be saved. So you're taking away my choice.
Yeah.
Conundrum for another day.
I don't find a single problem with this. There's no conundrum to me. To me, it's like, okay, you want us to both die when, like, here's the other thing. Emery didn't fucking ask to die. Like, Emery was chill to leave. The thing is, Emery was also not begging. And if Nesta wanted to have an actual chance of living, which at this point she doesn't think she's going to, Gwen's not going to do anything to help with that situation.
Yeah.
And also, they're so close to dawn. Another smarter practical route is get to the top. The second that they touch it, even before dawn, they can warn anyone and tell Azriel and Rhys. Like, I'm just saying that logically, the smarter choice is for Gwen to go and Emery to go.
Yeah.
That's how I would convince you, is with logic. And then you'd look at me and go, damn it. And then I would knock you out just for the hell of it at that point, you know? Like,
people wonder about our friendship sometimes.
Do you wonder about our friendship sometimes? Did you genuinely think I would have any other answer?
No, I didn't. I knew the answer for you.
Yes, I feel like sometimes I'm the more cold-blooded one out of us.
Yeah. On certain things, yeah.
For certain things, you know, like, we definitely trade off on who's the cold one. But yeah, like, I think there's some things I would sleep easy with. And if it involved protecting the ones that I love, it wouldn't bat an eye. Okay, so there's a lot of great imagery going on here. SJM is just like, I don't know, I'm imagining like this is like the end of a fireworks show at Disney. And it's just like, now you have this one in this moment. And there's just something about when Nesta is sending Gwen and Emery off. Gwen is passed out. She's on Emery's back. And, quote, Nesta tied the bloodied rope around them, bringing them together. And I just love this idea of a bloody rope tying them, binding them together. It's almost like, I don't know, it kind of feels like a blood bond situation of her. Just like, here's my blood and I'm protecting the two of you guys. Go forth. That's just me.
It's like it's making them family, even though they're not family, right? Yeah. Using the imagery of the blood.
Like any good High Lord, we have responsibilities. A quick break. I have decided I am going for a European summer vibe, and Quince is helping me get there.
Ooh, what are you getting?
Okay, I'm obsessed with some of their linen clothing, but one of my all-time favorite pieces that I recently got from them is their leather ballerina flats. And I am walking everywhere and I feel so chic with them.
My favorite piece of my spring and summer wardrobe is the soft organic cotton button-up. I use it as a layer for cooler mornings or cooler evenings. I wear it to work or I wear it out casually with my favorite pair of shorts. It's so adaptable and I always feel put together, even if I just rolled out of bed.
Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brand. And that's because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middleman. So you're paying for quality, not brand markup.
And it's not just clothing. Quince has really become a destination for elevated essentials across the home, kitchen, bedding, and beyond. I'm really looking forward to putting Quince kitchen items on my registry so that I can redecorate my entire kitchen.
You can elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365 days returns. Now available in Canada too.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk. Now, why is Nesta doing this? Nesta is convinced she has a debt to repay to Emery and Gwen, and that is why she is choosing to be the one that stays behind. So, Jack, do you agree that Nesta has a debt to pay?
No. Nesta, out of all of the people in this book, Nesta does not have a debt to pay to Emery and Gwen. Nesta doesn't understand friendship, that just because you have past wrongs, you know, you're coming to a friendship with a clean slate. At this point, I truly believe that she is substituting Farah and Elaine for Gwen and Emery. Not that she doesn't care for Gwen and Emery, not that she doesn't love them. I think she would do this for them in a heartbeat. But this idea of having a debt where it's like, Nesta says, quote, "For being my friends, even when I didn't deserve it." Emery's face crumpled. There is no debt, Nesta. There was no part where she didn't deserve their friendship for what she did to them. you know?
Mhm.
But there are points where Nesta didn't deserve Farah's kindness.
Right.
And so to me, it's kind of a misaligned guilt. And I mean, I'm curious to what SJM would say about it. Like, this is one of those moments where I would truly want to say, hey, when you wrote this, do you feel like Nesta was kind of substituting them for her sisters, where it's like this guilt that she can't even express that to Farah, so she'll express it to these two? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think I may have said it in episode 11. I can't quite remember, or at least I've thought it. But I don't think Nesta can do what she does for Farah and Nyx without having first done it for Emery and Gwyn. And I think whether or not Nesta is correct, I do believe Nesta thinks she owes Gwyn and Emery a debt. She does view herself as a burden that they picked up, right? And she feels like she owes them. I do also agree subconsciously that, you know, as we've said before, she's learning the value of female relationships through Gwyn and Emery. So naturally, they are symbolically also stand-ins for Farah and Elaine and how they tolerated Nesta. So here's the thing, though. Here's the difference, is that when it gets to the point where Nesta's beaten down and she thinks she's going to die in this effort to protect Gwyn and Emery, she's going to realize, I was willing to make the sacrifice, but I actually don't want to die. I actually want to survive.
Yeah.
The difference is going to be when it comes to Farah and Nyx, she is willing to die at that point. She's willing to do whatever it takes for Farah to live.
Yep.
And she couldn't have gotten there without knowing the difference, which requires her to have first gone through the sacrifice for Gwyn and Emery.
Yep. Good points. Wow. Good job, Amy. Everyone?
Before we wrap up this chapter, just a moment to appreciate another moment of SJM bringing things full circle because it adds emotional depth. Nesta, quote, repeated her mind stilling again and again until her breath became the steady crash of waves and her heart became solid stone, and every inch of her body was hers to control. She was the rock against which the surf broke. These males would break against her too. I love the use of that Valkyrie saying, and kind of the music, it's called the refrain, the repeated use of it to call back a certain emotion, but now it's being applied to the men and how she is stronger than these men and she will survive whatever they throw at her. It gives her strength. She embodies it. And it's just a beautiful way of weaponizing this phrase that was about peace in a way that is uplifting for us, gives us hope.
And what's uplifting about it is that it says breaking men and that the men will break because she is a queen. She is an icon. She is burning the patriarchy. Like I said, the mountain, I feel like I said this last episode, if you guys remember it or not, like whatever. I said that the mountain itself represented the patriarchy. And this is her just destroying them. And I love it so much. And this is just a good line. Quote, she tucked the dagger into her belt, picked up the sword, and drew a line in the dirt in front of the archway. This is such a good mental trick, too. Like, to be able to mentally say, like, this is the line, like, I can't pass this. Like, it's beautiful and metaphorical, but it's also practical.
I think I've had listeners say before that that is such a cringe moment. And I actually think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
To your point, because at some point, making your goals or, you know, your boundaries physical helps you enforce them mentally, physically.
Yeah. And let's talk about the larger metaphor at work here. You can say that at the beginning of the book, Nesta never drew a line in the sand for her life, for herself. There was never a moment of her saying, I've gone too far, or I need to start doing better, or I need to start finding love, right? Like, there was never a moment where she drew her own metaphorical line in the sand for her own life. And now here she is saying, this is where it ends. This is where I will fight until the very end. I like the larger metaphors. Like, are all these moments kind of like, I don't want to say gauche, but like it's a bit in your face. Sure, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that means good for you. You recognize the imagery of it and it doesn't make it bad just because it's in your face. And that is kind of reflected in Nesta's thoughts in chapter 70. So after she's drawn the line in the sand, her thoughts are reflecting just how much she's grown throughout this novel, to double down on Jack's point. She is drawing the boundaries she never drew before. Quote, she would not cede that line to these males. She would not fail her friends. She had no room for fear in her heart, only calm, determination, and love. And those are 3 things she did not have at the start of the novel, right? She did not have calm. She had no determination. And she did not believe herself deserving of love. And any love she felt painful. It caused her pain. And so she would rather not feel it.
Just to kind of add on to that moment where Nesta's saying, like, I'm not going to fail my friends. I don't have room for fear. Another thing that I love about it is that at this point, it is not her love for Cassian that's getting her through, that's making her want to fight. It's the love for her friends. And that's very important because sometimes you have books where the romantic love is all consuming. And while it is in many ways, her love for her friends is what is making her draw that line and fight.
Yeah. And there's a lot about the blood right that Nesta is only going to keep to her and her friends. She's not going to share it with Cassian. She's not going to share it with other people because this is their moment. This is not Cassian's moment. Moving into chapter 71, Nesta has successfully fought off most of the males except Bellius himself, who's waited until the very end. And, quote, every inch of her body burned. Now, remember last week, I talked about Nesta being steel and she's a weapon being forged. And yes, I know physically she's probably burned out and that's why her muscles burn. But this is also a reminder that Nesta is still being forged in a fire as a weapon.
Yeah. And this is a weapon where at this point, her as a weapon is only a forged and is only a weapon to serve her friends. This is the only thought that she has. Quote, if you fall, it will be to save your friends who saved you, even when they didn't know they were doing so. And there is so much value that she places on that friendship. I think we're kind of seeing a lot of almost like a weird full circle of thought process happening where she starts off this battle thinking like, I didn't deserve them. I'm going to fight for this debt that I owe you. And by the end of this, she'll have gotten to a point of like, well, actually, I want to keep living with my friends. And you can see this evolution here where it will be to save the friends who saved you, even when they didn't know they were doing it. So rather than saying like, even though I didn't deserve it, it's like, hey, at least they didn't know they were doing it. I don't know. I find like a slight evolution of her working through her own issues. Nothing like fighting an onslaught of men to do that.
It's when you really begin to question life.
It's true.
Moving into chapter 72, we have another moment that reminds us of Nesta's growth. Quote, Nesta only had to hold this asshole off for a few more minutes until dawn. Then it'd be over. Her power would return and she could. Nesta didn't know what she'd do, but at least she'd have that weapon. So just as a reminder, at the start of the novel, Nesta was repressing her magic. She was afraid of what it would do. It was afraid of how it would change her. And now she's counting down the seconds to be like, God, I just wish I had my power back so I could use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Right? It's something she's grateful for. It's something she wants to wield. It is no longer a forbidden or shameful part of her that she wants to hide.
Yeah. And while her and Bellius are fighting, everything is kind of going into it. And I feel like SJM is pulling every symbolism, metaphor, imagery that she could possibly do. Quote, a storm has swept around the mountain, veiling the moon, the stars. And it's kind of like, okay, and she's been compared to a storm, right? That Cassian has had to ride the storm, that her fury is there. And then now it's covering up the moon and the stars. And could you say it's covering up Reese and the Night Court and the quote unquote good? And she's just getting ready to take this shit on. Or you can say that it's preparing us to say that Cassian's coming in and he's been blocked because, you know, he's her moon and stars type of thing. Like there's a lot of ways that you can take this idea that Nesta is essentially, in my mind, summoning the storm to this mountain.
And or to your point, she is also about to encounter a barrier, right? Like the description, like you said, the storm is a barrier to the rest of the night sky. Cassian is going to have a barrier between him and Nesta because of the crown's manipulation. So the weather reflects the interiority, kind of like in Gothic literature.
Yeah.
Now, Nesta, as she's fighting Bellius, is worn down and making rookie mistakes that even she knows are rookie mistakes. Quote, her fool's look toward it had him knocking the sword from her hand, too, disarmed like a novice. It's just humorous because she's being so self-deprecating, or it reads like she's being self-deprecating, which I empathize with, but also is like, oh, it's reminding us she's done a lot of training.
Yeah.
She's good at what she does. Now, she was so confident, as we said before, that she would die for Emery and Gwyn, but actually not. Quote, her friends had made it, but she did not want to die. She wanted to live and live well and live happily. Wanted to do it with, end of sentence. And we all know who that's with.
Azriel.
And yes, Azriel. Azriel is the answer to all her problems. This moment's beautiful because, yes, while she was grateful to be alive during Starfall, grateful to see the stars, this is the next level. This is the progression. She's not willing to submit or yield. She wants to continue life. She's not just grateful for life. She wants to seize life. And that was not the Nesta of the start of the book. That wasn't even the Nesta from the Bog of Orid. That is a new and improved Nesta within the last 25% of the book.
Yeah. And then we have the last line. And at this point, she's at hand to hand with Bellius. They're fighting. And he's just kind of like, you think you can take me? And then Nesta hissed, quote, because my mate taught me well. And this is the first time that she calls Cassian her mate. The audience in the theater screams. We're all like, oh my gosh, she says her mate. But that's because she's finally claiming him and channeling him, which she's been channeling him for many a chapters. But now she's finally
fully embracing.
Yeah. You can't channel someone without accepting who they are, and who he is as her mate.
Yeah. Now, we get into chapter 73, and Bellius has Nesta pinned. And Nesta, at this point, feels the ultimate betrayal of her own body because her body gives out even though she wants to keep fighting back. Quote, Nesta snarled. She had nothing left. Her body had given up on her like so many others had. And something about that hits really, really hard. Yeah. She's lost control of her own body. It is frustrating her and it's triggering her. It reminds her of where she started, as if she's never left the start of the novel. And that's actually really sad to think about, that she thinks she's going to die having never made progress.
What's sad is thinking that her body has given up on her. You know what I mean? That just shows the continued self-hatred. And that's a self-hatred that I think that will not completely disappear, but sacrificing her power for Farah will be a big progression for her. But to say that her body has given up on her like everyone else, that's so sad.
Yeah. It is at this point Cassian shows up and wins the day. He kills Bellius, throws Bellius off Nesta, and then, quote, offered her a hand, not to sweep her into his arms, but to help her rise, as he had always done. And this is such a beautiful moment. It's so beautiful that Nesta recognizes this about Cassian, about how he's always been there to support her, but never to take over for her. And so it's so cruel that the thing Nesta loves about Cassian and their relationship is now being manipulated by Briallen, because Cassian helps her up and then is like, I'm going to kill you.
Is he suddenly Ilya? From Heated Rivalry?
Maybe.
I'm coming to the cottage. I'm going to kill you. I like your interpretation of it, because in the moment I was kind of confused, where I was like, is this Briallen doing it or is this Nesta's interpretation? But I'm choosing yours, where Briallen is manipulating the moment.
Yeah, that's what I choose to believe.
And I do too. And so does every listener, except for that one. You know who you are. I don't know. I'm just imagining someone out there being like, I disagree. Okay, so now we're in chapter 74, and I love the description of nature and how it reflects. Because again, remember, the storm was brewing and Nesta was putting her all into it. But now Bellius is gone and Cassian's here, and quote, the storm stopped, cleared a way to reveal the pale gray sky before dawn, the last of the stars winking out. Ugh. The way that the stars are winking out is the way you can say that Cassian's control of himself is disappearing. It's really, really nice. I mean, it's the same way where if Nesta's the storm and she had all this fight to give, all the fight has left her. You know, Cassian has been brainwashed or brain controlled by the crown.
Yeah. Well, and think about the way that Asham uses the phrase of the stars winking out. That's what she describes happening in Rhys's eyes when he's upset or he's plotting death. The stars wink out of his eyes. So we can attribute that also to Cassian. Now, the human queen Briellen shows up, reveals that she's controlling Cassian, and shames Nesta for becoming fully Fae. Briellen says, quote, you are so thoroughly Fae now, Nesta Archeron. You would allow the world to turn to ash and ruin before you let your mate die. And this is because Cassian is being controlled and told to kill Nesta. Nesta could defend herself, but she won't. And now they're in a conundrum. And the irony of this moment is that really up until now, Nesta has not wanted to be fully, thoroughly Fae. She has not wanted to accept the mating bond between her and Cassian. And quite frankly, I think the thing that turns her fully Fae is when she decides to kill Briellen.
Yeah.
But before we get there, Cassian is on top of Nesta, quote, pinning her there, an arm at her throat, the weight of him once so intimate and loving, now the thing that would hold her here hurt her. It's a lot like the moment that they just had of Cassian helping her up instead of picking her up, right? There is an understanding between the two of them. And in this physical intimacy, this is of him between her hips. This is a language of love that they used to express to each other that is also being manipulated and tainted by Briellen. So one of the very tragic moments, and what I think makes me love this so much, even though, I don't know, does this fight feel a little cartoonish? I think the first time I listened to it a little bit, but reading it and analyzing it, I just love it so much that there's this connection that Nesta didn't want to die, but now she loves Cassian so much she's willing to, because she's not willing to kill him.
Yeah.
Quote, pleading and fear and love. Love she did not deserve, had never once deserved, but there it was, just as it had been there from the instant they'd met. What was the value of the world compared to him, to this? Nesta let her mate see the love shining in her face, the sky filled with soft, gentle light. I just want to point out, Asham is once again consistent with the use of the sun. She will be throughout these last chapters. The sun is bringing truth. The sun is bringing hope. And Nesta is finally coming to understand her truth, that Cassian is more to her than the entire world, and that she loves him.
It's sweet.
Even if Valkyrie needs a pause, we'll be right back. One of the first things I do when I move was I needed to get new sheets. I needed that restart in my bedroom. And that's why I go to Boll and Branch, for their variety and their quality.
Boll and Branch not only has your sheets, but they have everything you need. They have their signature satin sheets, breathable pillows, cozy waffle bed blankets, and beautifully crafted comforter, all designed to work together for comfort and temperature regulation. I always start the night off freezing, then I get hot, and then I get cold again. But ever since I've switched to Boll and Branch, I have been so comfortable every single night.
When Jack and I recently went to New York, I put my Boll and Branch sheets on the bed so that when our friends who watched our cats came over, they could lay in those sheets. And I got so many compliments about the quality and the breathability of the fabric. They definitely asked me where I got them.
I get complimented every single time I have a meeting for work and you can see my bed in the background, and everyone always says how pretty it is, how stylish my room looks. I am not a stylish person, and yet Boll and Branch is making me look like I have my life together.
What's even better is that their signature organic cotton sheets get softer the more you wash them.
It makes me excited for laundry day. Upgrade your sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/booktalk with code BOOKTALK.
That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, and use code BOOKTALK to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
There's one part where I get stuck on. It's the fact that she feels like she doesn't deserve love and never once deserved it. And that is like, I'm going to harp on words here. She didn't deserve love, had never once deserved. That is implying her whole life. That is then implying her childhood as well. This isn't Nesta didn't deserve love now, like when she became an asshole. There is a self-hatred that Nesta has that's been fully revealed in these chapters, between thinking that she doesn't deserve Emery and Gwen's friendship, that she doesn't deserve love, that she's never once deserved love. And even though this ends up being a very beautiful book with a beautiful ending, and she kind of goes to her dad's grave and knows that there's nothing left to apologize, that's all fine and dandy. But this idea of her deserving things, I think, can be a very interesting theme in future books if SJM decides to experiment with this and continue this thread.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where Nesta's headspace is at in ACOTAR 6.
So the next description I have is long, but in my opinion is worth the read. And this is a short episode, so I'm going to read it. When Nesta thinks that Cassian has stabbed himself in the heart, she absolutely loses her shit. Quote, "The bane of her magic was a beast with no name. Avalanches cascaded down the cliffs in the sea of glittering white. Trees bent and ruptured in the wake of the power that shattered from her. Distant seas drew back from their shores, then raced in waves towards them again. Glasses shook and shattered in Valaris. Books tumbled off the shelves in Helion's 1,000 libraries, and the remnants of a run-down cottage in the human lands crumbled into a pile of rubble." That, I felt like it was one of the most powerful descriptions in the book, that here we are talking about all of these grand things that she's doing, that she's causing avalanches, that trees are bending, shores are moving, like all of these great things, like even in these great courts, things are happening. And then the rundown cottage where she and Farah and Elaine and their father lived, that breaks and crumbles in this moment, aka her humanity. And she is now fully accepting her power and who she is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. Then we are in chapter 75. Nesta and Cassian reunite. So at this point, she is like, and then touches Bree Allen, like grabs her face, and it's giving Harry Potter and Quirrell in Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, if you want to call it that. And, you know, when like Harry grabs his face and then he kills him, and it's like, cool, we're just going to ignore the fact that an 11-year-old just killed someone, but he's never going to have the trauma of that. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, at this point, Cassian and Nesta reunite, and she calls him my mate, and then they kiss. Quote, "It did not matter the world around them or the crown at her feet as he kissed her. A mate's kiss, one that set their souls twining, glowing." Aww. Also, like days of not brushing, a week of not brushing teeth. A true aw. And then Azriel and Moore show up immediately and tells them about Farah. There is no break at the end of this book.
Right. And to the topic I spoke of earlier, it has to happen so quickly. Otherwise, Nesta could not take the application of her sacrifice and apply it here with Feyre. Like, she has to be still on that adrenaline high.
She's like, I
for
will
this to make sense.
die for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It
But
is
I'll
6.
live
Do
for
you wanna-
Cassian. I mean, she's the only one that she's not willing to die for. She's willing to live for, which is much harder.
Yes, it is. We now move into chapter 76, and immediately the tone is set. Quote, the river house was so silent, like a tomb. Feyre's face, it was white as death. There is no doubt where this is going, and it is not going to be pretty. There is no hope because there's no room in the descriptions for hope. Now, as Madja is trying to help Feyre get Nyx, the baby, into position so that she can birth him, quote, Elaine began praying to the Fae's foreign gods, to their mother, and Nesta bowed her head too, as Elaine is praying. And you have a note, Jack, but do you want me to tell you how you read it wrong?
Rephrase what just happened. Jack, you have a note. Before you want to read it, do you want me to tell you how you're wrong? Before you even get a chance to read it to the audience?
Yeah, go ahead.
I get what you're saying. My thing was, I feel like it was grammatically not written very well because it's to the Fae's foreign gods to their mother. So I understand it could be to the mother, as in the Fae's mother, but I feel like there's also room for it being said to their mother, as in Nesta and Feyre's and Elaine's mother. But go ahead.
No,
tell me.
Okay, as long as you understood that could have been the reading. So you're not wrong. But I understand what you're saying as, I apologize.
You're not wrong. You're just a little wrong.
No, I see what you're saying of, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, when I read your note, I assumed something different. I see now that you read this and said, I see one way, I see another way of interpreting this. My counter is that because mother is capitalized, it is about the mother. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I understand the way that it's written. It sounds like she's talking about mother.
The only thing you had to say was, hey, the M's capital, so therefore I think it's probably the Fae mother. There was just a lot of preemptive about me being wrong to get to that point.
Yeah, it's because I misread your note. And that's my fault. I understand.
Starting off with, hey, before you want to read that, let me, do you want to know if you're wrong now or later?
Well, I didn't know how you read it. I thought you had read it incorrectly. I didn't want you to spend the time reading it. I was trying to
I'm just laughing at you starting off with saying you're wrong from the get-go. That's just what's funny, is the choice of being like, do you want to know if you're wrong now or wrong later?
Yeah, no, it makes me feel like an asshole. Let's move on, please.
No, it's okay. I think it's funny. Okay, so there are a few times where it seems like Nesta can actually see death. And I'm just flagging it because, I can't be bothered putting this in the Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks section. So, quote, but death hovered nearby. Nesta felt it, saw it, a shadow thicker and more permanent than any of Asriel's. Again, flagging it because I'm just like, is this a new thing? Is this what is it? I know she's Lady Death. I know she's like a god of death, but I was like, oh, so we're seeing death. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Actually, I have a theory that I think I did save for the Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks.
Ooh, we'll cover it then.
Yes, I saved it for the Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks. I will bring it up again later. Now, while Nesta is seeing death show up and is hovering, waiting to take Feyre and baby Nyx and Rhys in the process, Nesta panics because she thinks, quote, Feyre, who had gone into the woods for them, who had saved them so many times. Feyre, her sister. Death lurked near Feyre and her mate, a beast waiting to pounce to devour them both. Now, when I read this, a beast waiting to pounce, yes, it's an animal. And when I think about it from the power lens, it's implying that it's like feral and about to attack. It also made me think of Andres from the start of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and how he was also a beast waiting to pounce, but not really. And Feyre attacked him, right? Killed him. And that was kind of the start of the whole series. I think it's a beautiful full circle moment in the sense that Feyre killed Andres. Feyre taught Nesta how to hunt. And now Nesta is going to be the one to shoot the beast down for Feyre instead of the opposite way around.
I like that.
And I think that that's a beautiful moment because Nesta's finally doing what she's never done before, which is standing up for Feyre, for her family, and being the strong one.
Yeah. I really, really like this because I feel like in this moment is the first moment that Nesta has truly understood, not just understood, accepted what Feyre has done for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that acceptance is the only way for Nesta to move forward with her relationship with Feyre. Because how many times has she said, like, I don't want to hear what Feyre did. I don't want to think about it. And I say this being an absolute Nesta lover. However, Nesta has not sacrificed nearly as much or as long as Feyre has for their family. And someone out there could be like, well, she did this and she did that. You can't say she's done it nearly as long as Feyre has. And you might say, well, Nesta was prepared to sell her body for Elaine. For Elaine, didn't do it. And Feyre was there to protect them all. So by accepting this, it's Nesta accepting the shame that she did nothing. By accepting this, and most importantly, accepting it by not adding her own shame and guilt, she's not making this about herself. This is her fully accepting what this is. This is not about her own resentment towards Feyre, her own shame. It's, holy shit, you did this for all of us. And now it's my turn.
Yeah. And again, to my point earlier, this couldn't happen if Nesta had not just done something similar for Gwyn and Emery. And it has to happen on the heels of that for this moment to be so poignant for Nesta, for her to realize she understands what Feyre did because she herself just did something similar.
Yeah.
And that it is not something to be mad about, right? Feyre isn't trying to lord over Nesta for it, just the way Nesta is not going to lord over Emery or Gwyn, right? She did it out of love. And that's a really, really beautiful moment. And again, showing us how the clean slate of a relationship with Emery and Gwyn is teaching Nesta how to heal her relationship with her sisters.
Yeah.
To the point we made earlier in the season.
We were right the whole time. I mean, there's no wrong or right answers, guys. But if there was, we'd be it.
We'd be it.
And all of our listeners, because there's so many who sent really interesting things this past season. It's been some great submissions. So we're in chapter 77. And at this point, Nesta has gone full Lady Death. She has the crown. She has the mask. She has the harp. And she has pause time. And everyone is like, Rhys goes to like mid-launch for her and she just stops everything. And now she's just kind of sitting there and like there's like this slight temptation in the back to be like, hey, you can just like lean into this perpetual time. You can forget all pain and you can be here. And I believe that Nesta is being challenged by the mother in a way to see if Nesta really wants to live, because there is no living without experiencing the good and the bad. So the mother goes, "Yeah, sure." And this is Nesta's response to the mother. Quote, "We need those things in order to appreciate the good. Some days might be more difficult than others, but I want to experience all of it, live through all of it with them." Just want to put this out there. We know SJM watch Sailor Moon. She likes Sailor Moon. So I'm going to put the Sailor Moon quote. "We have lots of ups and downs, pleasures and pains, but that's life, and we learn to accept the bad with the good. Without the bad times, we wouldn't appreciate the good times." Straight out of Sailor Moon. I'm not saying plagiarism. It's just the like, I know a Sailor Moon fan when I see it. But it is just a beautiful moment where Nesta's like, nah, I get what I'm signing up for.
And the beautiful response that Nesta gets from the mother is, quote, "That wise, soft voice whispered, 'So live, Nesta Archeron.'" Anytime the voice speaks to her, I get emotional, and it's for a lot of reasons. I think that there's something really, really beautiful that for someone who lost their human mother, who, by the way, was a monster, Nesta is looked after by the mother of all mothers, which is really beautiful, especially because that same mother figure allows Nesta to keep some of her power when she's making the bargain with the cauldron. From Cassian's point of view, quote, "Cassian could have sworn a luminescent, gentle hand prevented the light from leaving Nesta's body altogether." which explains that she will have magic in the future. We don't understand the full extent of that magic at this point.
She still has her magic, guys. That's exciting.
Now, one thing that I love most about Nesta's sacrifice, because a lot of people don't like the fact that Nesta sacrifices magic. I have theories about that in the breadcrumbs that are beyond the simple explanation. I want to focus for a moment about why Nesta is making that sacrifice and why in this moment, while everything is frozen, time is frozen, Nesta says, I love you to Feyre.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the first time Nesta said I love you to anybody in this book, probably to anyone ever. Quote, you loved me when no one else would. You never stopped. Even when I didn't deserve it, you loved me and fought for me. And Nesta looked at Feyre's face, death a breath away from claiming it. She didn't stop the tears that ran down her cheeks as she squeezed Feyre's slender hand tighter. I love you, Feyre. She had never said the words aloud to anyone. I love you, Nesta whispered. Again, I love you.
Are you getting choked up? I'm getting choked up.
Yeah, I am. So, again, I mentioned earlier, Nesta didn't want to die to save Emery and Gwyn, but she's willing to now for Feyre because she loves Feyre more than she loves most other people, and she's never been able to admit that. It's so beautiful that Nesta says I love you to Feyre before she ever says it to Cassian, because that's the way it should always be in family, right? Nesta should have said I love you to Feyre decades ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. But it's so beautiful that she's still able to do it now.
Yeah.
And Feyre to be the first one she said it to and not Cassian. Because, again, this book is about female relationships and how female bonds heal female bonds.
Yeah.
And yes, Nesta and Cassian have a lot of sex. Yes, they love each other. I'm sure there will be more about their love story in the next book because this was not the book for their love story.
And then, like, the fact that the first thing that Feyre does when she wakes up is turn to Nesta and say, I love you too. She doesn't look for Rhys. She doesn't look for her baby. She looks to her sister. And, like, even in death, even in frozen time, she heard it. And that just, like, oh my God, I was crying. I was crying so hard. I want to cry now.
And it's a really awesome callback to the time that Nesta apologized to Feyre, right? Because Nesta did it in her own mind, not knowing Feyre was listening. And that happens again here. Nesta says, I love you, not knowing that Feyre can hear her.
I also love, though, so she saved Feyre. The baby immediately starts crying. Everyone's happy. And then I love that Nesta also kind of comes to her own acceptance with Rhys and that he is family. Quote, Rhysand, her brother. That's what he was, wasn't it? Her brother who had offered her kindness even when she knew he wanted to throttle her, and she him. It's sweet, it's cute, and it also is like her accepting that family is growing, you know, that her like family is literally growing. There's more people involved. There's so many people who are just like, Rhys is evil. He's going to have his evil arc. There's so many clues of him being evil. And I just want to be like, one of our major clues, I'm not saying that he's a great guy, but, you know, it took her all of this book to be like, maybe he's not all that bad. Maybe this is just what a brother is.
Yeah. Maybe I've just been too hard on everybody. Maybe I've just assumed the wrong things about everybody, aka unreliable narrator.
I mean, Nesta keeps saying she doesn't deserve love. Has Nesta once looked at anyone and said that they do deserve what they have?
Excellent question.
You know?
Yeah. And by what they have is, you mean like the relationships
family,
they have?
Love. Yeah. Like, if you look at, Cassian would say when he looked at Rhys and Feyre, go like, hey, like, I'm sad that I don't have it, but like, my brother deserved it so much. He went through so much. He literally says some of these people like deserved their happiness, deserves their joy. And Nesta never once looks at someone else's happiness, especially so Feyre's happiness, and thinks, you went through so much and you are out on the other side and you deserve this. Yeah. And I don't think Nesta understands people deserving love and kindness and respect, and that they get their happy ending. So it's, you know, like, talk about unreliable of narrators, right?
Right. Yeah. Such a great point.
Hold the cereals, T. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right. Before we wrap up this chapter, let's talk about this moment because I like it. It also makes me laugh. I can't tell if it's cringe. So, let's call it out. Quote. So this is after time has resumed. Feyre's alive. The baby's crying because the baby's healthy and alive. Quote, then Rhys fell to his knees and took Nesta's hands in his, pressing his mouth to her fingers. Thank you, he wept, head bowed. Cassian knew it wasn't in gratitude for Rhys's own life that he knelt upon the sacred tattoos inked upon his knees. Nesta dropped to the carpet, lifted Rhys's face in her hands, studied what lay in it. Then she threw her arms around the High Lord of the Night Court and held him tightly.
I think that this would be considered very sweet if we didn't have Nesta going on her knee to apologize to Amren. Because her getting on a knee for Amren, I feel like was, one, cringy. Two, like, Amren does not deserve that level of apology. I feel like going on your knees is ruined. However, I like the symbolism. I like the fact that Rhys will bow to no one except for Feyre and now Nesta for one time. And I like that Nesta meets him on his level, you know? Like, she is willing to humble herself the way that he humbles himself in this moment.
Yeah, because they're mirrors of each other.
Yeah. So now we are in chapter 78. Nesta goes to see Emery and Gwen, and they all cry, and then I cry, and then Gwen is mad, but still loves Nesta and forgives her, just like Amy would forgive me and love me when I knock her out and save her life.
I would have killed you again if you died after knocking me out. Been like, you bitch, I'm going to kill you too.
I feel like, but we're here.
There's this moment at the start of chapter 78 that I thought was pretty entertaining. Before Nesta goes to see Emery and Gwen, she's leaving behind everybody else. And she thinks that, I forget the context of it in this moment, but it's like, quote, the innermost circle of Feyre's court. It's not Rhys's court, it's Feyre's court. I thought that was a nice little touch.
I truly believe in future books, Nesta is going to be like, that's my High Lady. You're not like, screw you, High Lord. She's my High Lady.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Although if Nesta wants to go and live a Valkyrie lifestyle, she has to bow to the court because they would be an army of the court.
True. She could also be like, respectfully, I only take orders from my High Lady. You can go demand the Illyrians.
She's like, we're actually mercenaries for hire. So you can. But yeah, I think like, she's been very perpetual of like, I'm not in this court. I don't work for you. And I think that's a clue of like, no, Feyre's court.
Yep. There's a moment from Cassian's point of view where he's holding Nyx and then wants to go talk to Nesta. So he gives Azriel Nyx, quote, who winced at the transfer of this most delicate little creature to his scarred hands. So just pointing out, Cassian notices it too.
We know Azriel loves this shit. He loves it when he's struggling with this whole concept of his scarred hands handling pure things, which is sad. Look, he's traumatic childhood. It's going to continue. And boy golly, it will continue with the women in his life.
Yep. Can't wait to see that all unravel.
So excited. I need to request the days off.
I do too.
So Nesta takes Cassian outside. They're going on a little walk. And then Nesta tells Cassian, quote, I want a disgustingly ornate mating ceremony. It's so funny to me. And I actually think about this a lot, where in my mind, she's just kind of like being a little girlish, a little giggly and teasing him. And it's just great that this is Nesta accepting the Fae world and their customs. And it's also Nesta leaning into the quote unquote feminine and punishing Cassian in a very funny way. Like, oh, you want us to mate? Fuck yeah. All right, let's go big.
Yeah,
and
go big or go home, sir.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I don't think she's doing it just to piss him off. I think there's something about, for her, like she imagined what a wedding would be like, right? She imagined all of that. And so it's like, all right, well, if I'm going to do it, then we're going to do it my way.
Right. And it's also like, you can't want me to be your mate and not accept that we're going to lean in.
Yeah.
You don't get to just call me your mate and it's done.
Yeah.
We're going to do the thing.
This is, I feel like, where you and I probably relate to Nesta the most, where it's like, once we say we're going to lean in, we're going to lean in.
Yeah. Now, as the chapter ends, Nesta, for the second time, tells someone she loves them, and that's Cassian. And what's beautiful is that the sun is present. Quote, standing on the riverbank under the sun, letting its warmth seep through their bones, Nesta pulled away, whispering, I love you. And it was all Cassian needed before kissing her again, the force of it more powerful and enduring than the cauldron itself. Because sun reveals truth.
And because the mother is more powerful than the cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
We are in chapter 79, and Cassian goes to see Eris. And unlike all the times before in the past, when Cassian felt like he wasn't smart enough, good enough to be with Eris, he sees Eris for who he really is. And that's ugly. That's a She's the Man reference with Amanda Bynes. Have you seen it?
Once, many, 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 many years ago.
Oh, I can't wait to make you watch it again. It's Shakespeare.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying, like, we have to cover it for the podcast. But then I remembered Shakespeare's a man, and we do not cover him.
We don't do that.
No. Every once in a while, someone would be like, cover this. And I'm like, that's a man.
Yeah.
And we have one hard and fast rule here.
It's the only rule we abide by.
No men, except for that one time we've interviewed 3 men on this show. And only one of them was an author.
Third? No, we've interviewed more than 3 men. We've done 2 male voice actors, 1 male author, 3 male voice actors. Rhysand, Lucian, Marzi.
Oh, yeah, we did Rhysand, Lucian, Marzi. Yeah, you're right. And then Rugby Ben.
Yeah. No other men allowed.
That's it. Voice actors or disgustingly attractive men. The voice actors are also disgustingly attractive, not saying that you guys aren't. Anyway, back to the chapter. What Cassian really sees is a son who is abused by his father. Quote, Baron had tortured his own son for information, rather than thanking the mother for returning him. But Eris had held out, fed Baron another lie. Ugh, that's heavy. It humanizes him, right? Like, this isn't just this big, bad, scary guy, douchebag. It's a son who's abused by his father.
Yeah. And when I read this scene today, I felt, and I've always felt this way about this scene, I think Eris let this little factoid about him and his father slip on purpose. Mm-hmm. I think he wanted to make it very, very clear he is not on his father's side. And in some ways it costs him his pride, but I actually don't think he wanted empathy. I think he wanted respect as a fellow soldier.
Yeah.
And that's because of this one quote. Eris says to Cassian, quote, always mix truth with and lies, General. Didn't those warrior brutes teach you about how to withstand an enemy's torture? He's talking about war. He's addressing Cassian respectfully as a general, right? Continuing the quote. Cassian knew he'd been tortured and interrogated and never once broken. Baron tortured you? And Eris doesn't react like, a muscle ticked in his jaw because he had given too much weight. None of that is there, right? He, I think, wanted to clue everybody in. He is sincere in his lack of allegiance to his father. He is on their side. And he is not all that he seems. Like, they have made assumptions about him that are incorrect. It was a calculated move on his part, and I don't think that means it's manipulative. I think it's like, we've done enough to show that we're on each other's side, so I will let down my guard a little bit. What I like about this scene, and why I think I'm sure it will be necessary for future books, but what I like about its place in this book is that it also shows Cassian's growth, to Jack's point. He's no longer intimidated by Eris. He's also not jealous of Eris in this moment. Through Eris, Cassian sees just how blessed he's been by comparison, how lucky he is to be with the family he's with, to have Nesta. And that is definitely a lot of growth from who Cassian was the first time he encountered Eris in this book.
Then Cassian delivers this banger of a line, quote, I think you might even be a good male. Cassian opened the door, turning from Eris's curled lip. You're just too much of a coward to act like one. Damn! And ain't that the truth? Because people, especially men, I feel like, need the courage to be good.
Yep.
Not just mentally, but like physically, and go do good actions. We are now in the last chapter, and that's chapter 80. And Nesta is getting a rhythm back to her life again. She's back to training with Cassian, Azrael, and the priestesses. Her and Cassian are having tons of sex. And Rhys keeps showing Nesta how grateful he is by buying her presents and then paying for the mating ceremony. But also, he gives her the House of Wind. Quote, that had been Rhys's last present before the ceremony. It was theirs. Hers. And again, if Nesta is the house and she now owns the house, she has ownership of the house. And there's even another part where Rhys says, you're the only one the house actually likes. And again, I think that's something to be said of Nesta liking herself now.
Yeah. You said ownership of the house. What you're saying is she has ownership of herself.
Yeah. The house is of herself. Yeah.
Which is beautiful. I also find a lot of irony in the fact that Rhys is spending so much freaking money on Nesta, because it's the opposite of the start of the novel, right?
Yeah.
She was the one who was spending all of his money, and an intervention was staged because of what she was spending the money on, and it was embarrassing. Now it's flipped completely, which is what makes it poetic, and Rhys wants to indulge Nesta and give her everything out of thanks. And I just love the growth of Nesta.
Is there a faster way to go upstairs? Because House of Wind is at the top of the mountain. In the mountain is where the priestesses live. And that's where the library is, right? So if the priestesses can come in and out, so like the entrance to the library is at the bottom, right? And they can kind of go in and out, do whatever the hell they want. But at one point, I mean, which they don't, like they stay inside. Like, where's the entrance to the library for the priestesses?
I mean, well, the priestesses never leave. My thought was the entrance to the library is through the House of Wind. Like, you have to go from the top level of the House of Wind down into the library.
But then, like, the priestesses also go to the training roof, and I just thought they would have their own path there versus having to go through the House of Wind, like, to get to the training roof.
No idea.
I always imagined there was like a nice little door at the base of the mountain for them to go in and out if they wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, it's up to them type thing. Yeah, I need someone to explain it for me. Thank you.
I just imagine there's a passage, a stairway somewhere in the House of Wind that goes down into the library, and the priestesses have to come up that same passage to get to the training ring.
So my question then becomes, do they have to climb 10,000 stairs to get to?
No.
I know. Well, I know. But
I don't think there's any entrance to the library except through the House of Wind.
But even through that, the library is still under the House of Wind.
Right.
I need them to be an elevator system. Like, I'm just saying that there has to be a better way for them. Even if it's not 10,000 stairs, it's still 1,000 stairs. Like, it just feels like a lot of walking. And I think we could do a pulley system.
A dummy waiter.
Yeah. So Nesta and her sisters decide to go visit their father's grave, which is a big deal because we know Nesta's dealing with her feelings with her father, and she's struggling what to say. Quote, she searched for the words, for any explanation or apology, but none came. The sun was a warm hand on her shoulder, like the one that had prevented the last of her power from vanishing, as if telling her that the apology, the begging for forgiveness, it was no longer needed. It's sweet. It's amazing. It's forgiving herself. It's also like the mother telling her, hey, girl, you're good. I mean, it's kind of nice when you have like the literal God in their world saying you're forgiven. Like, I'll learn to let things go if God comes and knocks on my door and says, you're good, girl.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? And the sun's there again, presenting truth. Nesta is seeing clearly again.
Yep. The last few lines of this book is beautiful and perfect and how it needs to be. Quote, she found Farah and Elaine waiting halfway down the hill. Nyx now dozing peacefully in Elaine's arms. Her sisters beamed, beckoning her to join, and Nesta smiled back, her steps light as she hurried down the hill to meet them. All of this is happening while Cassian is flying above on the sky, and this is, to me, the perfect way that this book had to end, of Nesta going to her sisters. A lot of people have issues of Nesta not fixing her relationships with her sisters and focuses on her relationships with her friends. If Nesta hadn't focused on her relationship with her friends, Nesta wouldn't be able to have this moment with her sisters and literally go into the sunset type situation to her sisters.
Yeah, and look, They have so many years of history. It's not going to be resolved in a few months. It's not going to be resolved in a single book. I'm sure we're going to continue to see them work through it.
Yeah.
What I think is beautiful is where at the start of the book, Nesta was against her will being forced to go see Feyre. Now, willfully, Nesta is going to join Feyre and Elaine. And I think that's also a beautiful mirroring of start to finish.
Yeah. I've got a question that's been brewing for 12 episodes. What is the balance of character development versus plot-driven narrative in Silver Flames, and how does this compel the reader to feel about Nesta's journey?
So, we've talked since the beginning about this being so character-driven, and that remains true in my mind. However, as kind of scant as the plot is necessary because it is the vehicle by which Nesta forms relationships with Emery and Gwyn, right? They keep interacting and talking about Valkyries and, training, and that's how they complete the blood rite. It's a very thin plot, but without that plot, there would be no purpose for these women to really become friends and get to know each other. And as I said, Nesta's only able to truly heal her relationship with her sisters because of the relationship with Emery and Gwyn. Therefore, the plot, as thin as it is necessary for the character development. So while this is character development driven, the plot still helps drive that character development as well. And I think for the lack of a lot happening, a lot happened.
Well, let's both take a sip because we haven't taken a sip officially on the episode.
Yeah, take a sip. I'm so thirsty.
I think what's hard, and it would be my only critique of this novel, it's one that I'm willing to say I'm good with. The ending is fast. The plot's too hard. And not just plot, I think that the action happens too much. And we talked about this before. You mentioned it before that maybe it wouldn't feel as jarring if we had some like physical action sequences earlier. And I know that that's what the mask was supposed to be, right? The harp. That's what those moments were supposed to be, of having those like physical moments. But the book spans over the course of many months, and it is a very slow book in many ways. I think it's perfect. That's not a criticism. But at the end, the pacing goes from 0 to 60, even in the way that she formats her chapters. We went through how many chapters today? And that's because SJM does this in almost all of her books, where at the very end, the chapters go into very speedy, they're very short, it's very speedy, it gets the energy, the momentum of what's happening. And I don't think that that matches the rest of the book, when the rest of the book is just her taking so much time on the emotions, on what's going on. I will say, the ending's jarring. The ending is fast, but it also has to happen because, like you said, Nesta wouldn't do the same sacrifice. Like, it wouldn't hit the way that it did if Nesta hadn't gone through all of that. I don't know or think that I would have a better answer. What I can say is, yeah, I get the feeling. I understand why people might feel that. I hope you guys hear what we're saying as to why, even through that feeling, it still works.
Yeah, I agree. You said it very well.
Thank you. Now that we're doing carousels, everything I'm saying is like, how would I write this in a carousel?
That's fair.
Okay, so let's wrap up.
Thanks for listening to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Join us tomorrow for our Breadcrumbs and Broomsticks discussion from today's chapters of Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flames.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And, of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. And don't forget to join us as we keep the analysis going by subscribing to our Substack to get more insights into the romantasy and romance genres. Head to the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com. Bye!
have decided I am going for a European summer vibe, and Quince is helping me get there.
Ooh, what are you getting?
Okay, I'm obsessed with some of their linen clothing, but one of my all-time favorite pieces that I recently got from them is their leather ballerina flats. And I am walking everywhere and I feel so chic with them.
My favorite piece of my spring and summer wardrobe is the soft organic cotton button-up. I use it as a layer for cooler mornings or cooler evenings. I wear it to work or I wear it out casually with my favorite pair of shorts. It's so adaptable and I always feel put together, even if I just rolled out of bed.
Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brand. And that's because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middleman. So you're paying for quality, not brand markup.
And it's not just clothing. Quince has really become a destination for elevated essentials across the home, kitchen, bedding, and beyond. I'm really looking forward to putting Quince kitchen items on my registry so that I can redecorate my entire kitchen.
You can elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365 days returns. Now available in Canada too.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/booktalk. One of the first things I do when I move was I needed to get new sheets. I needed that restart in my bedroom. And that's why I go to Boll & Branch for their variety and their quality.
Boll & Branch not only has your sheets, but they have everything you need. They have their signature satin sheets, breathable pillows, cozy waffle bed blankets, and beautifully crafted comforter, all designed to work together for comfort and temperature regulation. I always start the night off freezing, then I get hot, and then I get cold again. But ever since I've switched to Boll & Branch, I have been so comfortable every single night.
When Jack and I recently went to New York, I put my Boll & Branch sheets on the bed so that when our friends who watched our cats came over, they could lay in those sheets. And I got so many compliments about the quality and the breathability of the fabric. They definitely asked me where I got them.
I get complimented every single time I have a meeting for work and you can see my bed in the background and everyone always says how pretty it is, how stylish my room looks. I am not a stylish person and yet Boll & Branch is making me look like I have my life together.
What's even better is that their signature organic cotton sheets get softer the more you wash them.
It makes me excited for laundry day. Upgrade your sleep with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/booktalk with code BOOKTALK.
That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, and use code BOOKTALK to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply.
Meet the new iSims, the single talent acquisition platform that's fully future-ready. It works wherever and however you hire, with insights no one else offers. One solution that fits seamlessly into your existing tech stack, which is why IT and HR leaders trust it. With the best of enterprise-grade software and AI, iSims helps you identify and secure the right talent faster. iSims, powering exceptional hiring. Learn more at isims.com.